In this video, we tell you about the experience of how we entered Mexico coming from the United States. We clarify what mistakes we made, and from our own experience, we advise you on the best way to enter Mexico if you come from the eastern United States and want to reach Los Cabos. This video is part of the trip we took in 2022 through the United States and Mexico, in which we traveled about 9,000 miles or 14,000 kilometers. We crossed over Florida, passing through Encanto Farm in Central Florida, crossing Alabama, Louisiana, and blowing a tire in Mississippi. These are the images of the blowout from which we emerged unscathed. Thank to God and to the people who helped us. After the blowout, we entered Arkansas, passed through Oklahoma, North Texas, New Mexico, and arrived at the Four Corners. The four corners that connect the states of Arizona, Colorado, Utah, and of course, New Mexico. As we left Florida in April, the temperatures were spring-like and pleasant, but we spent the months of May until August working in Utah, and then we were able to travel again in the months of August, September, and October for Utah, Arizona, and Baja California in Mexico. In October, we returned for work reasons to Florida again, where we currently live. These are pictures of North Utah near Park City, where we were working. This is why the trip through the American West takes us in the middle of the summer in the desert with temperatures of 120 degrees Fahrenheit or 49 degrees Celsius. As a traveler's advice, the climate of the place and the time of the year in which you're going to travel is an issue that you have to take into account so as not to suffer from the heat or cold like we did. We had just visited the Grand Canyon in Arizona and were heading to the Baja California Peninsula in Mexico. We had a trailer with us that we were going to leave in Yuma, Arizona. The heat was so intense that at the afternoon, we decided to stay in a campsite with a swimming pool and slept there. The cost was $45 the night. The next day, we headed to the city of Yuma to leave the trailer. On the way, we came across a date plantation that reminded us a lot of Tunisia. For those who are interested in this destination, you can search our videos of Tunisia. In the description, we leave you some. We did not know which border would be better and safer to enter, and many travelers had told us about Tecate in the state of California. This border crossing connects the cities of Tecate, USA with Tecate, Mexico. Although there are border crossings in Arizona, these were not recommended for security reasons, and in addition to that, you enter in continental Mexico instead of in the peninsula of Baja California. Entering California, we were amazed by the dunes around Route 8. Once again, we remembered Tunisia and our trip through the Tunisian Sahara. To get to Tecate, we had to take Route 8 and cross the Calexico-Mexicali border, which was the first important border from California to Mexico. For the first time, Tango entered the state of California, where the route became sandy because of the dunes. As we were going to be late to cross the border in Tecate, we decided to spend the night in Calexico. Again, we went to a campsite with a swimming pool because we couldn't stand the heat. The next day, we got up early to cross the border. But first, we had to cross the Rumorosa. This is a mountain range between the Mexican cities of Tecate and Mexicali, and the route that passes through these mountains and is considered the most dangerous route in Mexico due to its ups, downs, and curves. But it is also part of the route in the United States that leads to the Tecate border crossing. The route was picturesque because you could see the desert mountains that characterize it, but Tango found that going up and down these mountains was complicated. The worst thing was that when we were about to reach the Tecate border, we discovered that it was closed due to a forest fire in the area. This forced us to take the westernmost border crossing, that of San Diego-Tijuana. And here, we already regretted not having entered Mexico through Calexico-Mexicali. When we got to the border, we had to stop at customs to fill out a paper and pay a rate of $26 per person. This was because we were only entering Baja California and we were not going to go to the mainland. To go to the continent, you also have to leave a deposit of around $500 per vehicle that will be returned to you when you leave the country. Of course, to enter Mexico, your vehicle must have Mexican car insurance. We got it online and it cost us $200. And we were already in Mexico. The way people drove was quite chaotic because they were jumping on us to pass first, and we were afraid of catching them with the truck. But we soon got used to this style of driving because it was not very different from our country of origin, Argentina. Gonzalo made the switch and immediately blended in. Before heading to the highway, we loaded up with diesel. Traveler tip: you should fill the tank near the border with the United States because going south through Baja California, gasoline and diesel in general become more expensive. The route we took was along the sea with spectacular landscapes. We met again the ocean that we had not seen for months since we left Florida. But this time, it was not the Atlantic, but the Pacific. This was the route we took from Tijuana to almost Ensenada. While you enjoy these images, stay until the end to hear our most important travel advice. Passing the beach, La Misión. We found an RV campsite, and since we didn't know the area, we preferred to pay and sleep safely inside. They charge us $20 a night with electricity, bathrooms, and showers. Here, we stayed to enjoy the Mexican Pacific. The beach was huge and the water was a little cold, typical of the Pacific. The campsite had many American tourists. The place was super safe. For the first time, we saw the sunset over the sea. Traveler tip: if you come from the east and want to get to Los Cabos faster, that is to the Finisterre where the land ends, you should enter Mexico through the Calexico-Mexicali border, always mid-morning to avoid the traffic of people crossing the border to go to work or return from work. It is not advisable to cross borders at night. From Mexicali to San Felipe, there's only 200 kilometers. However, when we wanted to go Tecate, because we thought it was safer, we ended up doing 500 kilometers more, expending more diesel. Of course, we got to know a little more as well, but if you don't have much time or money, it is best to enter through Mexicali and take Mexico's Route 5 towards the south. The next day, we got to go to the Sea of Cortez as we had originally wanted to do, but couldn't due to the fire on the border. For this, you had to cross the widest part of the peninsula to reach San Felipe, which meant about 300 kilometers through the desertic mountains of Baja California. We will show you this tour in the next video, but we can tell you in advance that we went through the wine and cheese route. Look what we would have saved if we had entered Mexico through Mexicali. We hope to see you in our next video with more tips about Baja California. If you like these videos, we ask you to leave us a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We are not monetized and these videos take a long time to make. We never ask people for money. We finance our travel by working. We only ask you to help us by watching our videos and subscribing to them. Thanks, and see you at the next stop.